What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for an episode of Master of Orion. My name is Splattercat. Happy to have you here today as we check out this cool little 4X game that I was playing all weekend. But at the beginning, there is a caveat. This, as you've no doubt seen up in the title, is a sponsored video. That means that the developers contacted me and they contracted to have this video made. Therefore, because of that, I will recommend that you not use this as review or as impressions coverage. Instead, treat this purely as an entertainment venture, and we're going to check out Master of Orion. Okay, and so now that that spiel is all out of the way, what is Master of Orion? Well, Master of Orion is a game where you lead a race of spacefaring people, and there's a whole bunch to choose from, through their history, from getting into space and then conquering space. And so you're following essentially their space race and expansion out into the galaxy while competing against other races who are all doing the exact same thing. It's part of a genre called 4X games, which really just means that it's kind of a really in-depth strategy game. Before we go further, I wanted to mention that this is the collector's edition of the game, and if you wanted to get it for yourself, it's $49.99 on Steam right now, and it comes with a whole bunch of cool stuff. I mean, you get art books, you get soundtracks, you get access to another faction. Lots and lots of cool stuff comes with the collector's edition, so make sure you check it out down below in the description, which I'll have lined up for you there. But anyways, not super good at the game, so you probably don't want to use this as a tutorial, but I did find the game to be pretty streamlined, and I did like it. I felt like it was pretty silky smooth when I played it, to be honest. So we're going to check out the single-player campaign here. Let's jump on in. Right, okay, single player, play against some computer-controlled opponents. We're gonna go new game. I wanted to get as much gameplay in here as possible. Chances are, oh yeah, Michael Dorn. If you know Worf from Star Trek Enterprise, or from Star Trek The Next Generation, he plays Worf. He is he's the narrator for everything inside of the game. Kind of a cool thing. I'm talking over him right now, which feels kind of sinful. But, you know, there's a bunch of races we could pick from here. He's going to keep talking no matter what I do anyways. And so I figured I'd just turn him down. A little bit of dissonance there. So we have the Alkari, who are kind of like, they're not super warlike, but they will definitely fight. They're sort of knightly. There we go. That's the way that I'd put it. Everybody has things that they tend towards as well. They're better with beam defense. They have homeworld specials, which means that they have artifacts. They do research faster. They start with physics, which is pretty cool because normally it takes you a couple of turns to get that started up. They've got ship improvements, and every race has their own thing. So these are the Bullrathi. They're very defensive. They're basically, everything they have is like a giant turtle ship, which is weird because they're bears. But essentially, they won't bother you unless you bother them first. But if you bother them first, best be warned, they're going to come across those borders and they're going to come out swinging. There's the Darlock. Haven't gone up against the Darlock too much yet. I haven't run into him. Humans, skeevy, and as warlike as ever. No, we're supposed to be the diplomatic option, actually. You ever notice how when we put ourselves in video games, we always cast ourselves in like a really positive light? We're like, oh, we're the diplomatic race. Obviously, it's not like we haven't spent an entire eon of human history murdering each other on this little blue orb. But no, when we get into space, we're going to be the diplomatic race. Obviously, we're the ones that want to talk it out. You've got the Klakon, which is kind of like a Tyranid hive mind, basically. There's no sense of individuality. They're just a big hive, and they all go for the glory of the hive or whatever. There's the Meklar, who aren't really understood. It's kind of like a network race, and so these guys are basically like the animated sentient internet, and then they have like these little bodies and everything. Kind of cool. They get good morale because obviously they're all kind of controlled by the net. They have very little food consumption, and then their production is better as well because they're already machines, so it's like having an assembly line population. You got the Mershan, who are warlike, if I remember correctly. They tend to be kind of threatening and up in your face. There's the Cylon over here. Nope, not the BFG Cylons. These are completely different little egg-headed guys. They look kind of like, what's his name? I don't know. What was that Seth Rogen movie? Or it wasn't a Seth... Well, Seth Rogen played the alien, but anyways, I can't remember what it was called. I just watched it the other day. It was alright. It wasn't that good. These guys over here, they don't show a lot of emotion, but they're basically a research race, so technically they'll probably go for the research victory. There's the Sakra. They like fighting. There's many of them. They breed like crazy. Omicron, Persei 8, and all that. There's the Silicoids. Haven't gone up against them yet, so I can't really tell you. And then finally we have the Terrans. Apparently at some point humanity had a civil war going on, and these guys are like Nazi fascist humans. They're hard, they're determined, they're violent, they're warlike. And so essentially they like to persist in a constant state of war, and they're not the kind of people that are going to try and talk it out. They're going to try and blast it out. Whereas these humans over here get bonuses to diplomatic options. My favorite race so far is the Bullrathi. I like the Bullrathi a lot because I'm a very turtley player. I like being able to defend myself very well, but in general, I don't tend to go for warlike victories in games like this. Occasionally in like Civ 5, if I'm in a particularly grumpy mood, I might go for a warlike victory. But normally I just kind of mind my own business, and if somebody messes with me, then I'll invade and then I'll wipe out all their stuff. but I won't try to conquer the entire map. So let's go with the Bullrathi for right now, because I like bears and I like them, and so I like the husky races. They look like they're living good right now. I bet they got good food with their race. We start with physics. We get better beam defense. We've got a gravity tolerance for high gravity. That means that if we go to a high gravity planet, we won't take the penalties that are normally associated with that. However, it might make it so if we're at a low gravity planet, it gets even worse. I don't know. I'd have to check with that one. We're pretty good at ground combat. That's right. You can invade planets and do like little marine drops and stuff in this game. And then we've got homeworld minerals rich, which means that our production should be a little bit better. And our homeworld size is large, which means that we'll actually support a bigger population than a normal planet that you would start with any other race. So nice little bonus right there. Let's go ahead and hear about the Bullrathi from Michael Dorn.
The harsh Ursa system is home to the Bullrathi, a ferocious warrior race committed to the preservation of nature. Fearless and brutal in combat, they rely on their strength to overcome opponents, while their heavily armored fleets withstand wave after wave of enemy attacks. Fiercely territorial, they are usually reluctant to strike the first blow, but they will go toe-to-toe with anyone who wanders into their domain. Their rich spiritual life revolves around the Hag, an elder who speaks for nature itself. It was the will of the Hag that pushed the Bullrathi into space, as they sought to place the entire galaxy under their protection by any means necessary.
I think there's a little bit of like a conflict there. So are they defensive or are they offensive? Because right here it makes it sound like they want to conquer everybody, but up here it's like, but they want to conquer everybody. They just lack the motivation. Like, well, he's way over there. My artillery only shoots to there. I have to push that over to there, and it would take a while. Too much effort. Whatever. Let's just go do bear stuff. Eat some honey. All right, so it looks like we have the Klakon. We have humans, we have the Mershan, we have the Cylon, and we have the Meklar. This is going to be a pretty warlike map. This map is going to be rough. If we could hook up with maybe the humans, the Mershan, and the Cylon, we'd be in better shape, and that would leave the Klakon and the Meklar out in the cold. We have the most in common with these races, whereas these two are basically, to us, we can't really understand their position because these guys are basically the animated internet. And these guys right here have no sense of individuality or self. It's just like everything is part of the same organism. And so for us, that'd be kind of weird to understand. I don't see us having good diplomatic relationships with them. Bunch of different things. We can do a spiral galaxy. We can do a circle galaxy. I'm going to do a spiral because I've never done a spiral before. I'm going to make the galaxy large, the galaxy's age. I'm assuming that has to do with how condensed the galaxy is, how many stars there are, how close to each other if you go, like, large. I found that if you go old on games like this, the galaxy is really, really spread out and it takes a long time to travel, whereas if you go with young, it's all very compacted. Difficulty's fine. Big Bang Seed. No whammy stop. There we go. Off we fly. Let's go ahead and check out the game. I'm not a big guy on settings tweakings. I really have never been that guy. I don't tweak settings in games like this. I tend to just jump in and play until I inevitably lose, and I definitely will. I always make some stupid decision with my research that messes up the whole game. It happens every time.
Devoted for millennia to the conservation of their home planet Ursa, the hulking Bullrathi are a fierce kin. The will of the spirits is revealed to them through the Hag, an elder shamanic guide who speaks for all living things. She has now called on the Emperor of the Bullrathi to take this message beyond Ursa, to ensure the survival of the wilds, and put the whole galaxy under their protection by any means necessary.
All hail the pride and honor of the Bullrathi, the thickest of furs and the sharpest of claws. I'm humbled you still remember old Guru. As your High Chancellor, I shall provide assistance on any and all matters of the Empire. I've seen more than my share of battles, and hope my experience will help you on your campaigns.
Alright, and so I'm not really going to pay too much attention to the talking or like the tutorials or anything like that. I already know how to play the game, and so it shouldn't be too hard to get things going. Oh, we started out in a reasonably decent position. Ooh, we started out in a corner. That's good. That actually makes me pretty happy. It does mean that we're more than likely to go to war with our neighbor. Because, let's say, okay, so the basic way that this works, we've got planets. This is Ursa Prime. It's our capital. It is the shiz, and we've already populated it. Every single planet has civilians, so this is a level 6 planet right now because it's got 6 civilians. And then it can support 18 altogether, and so it can get up to level 18, basically. It has 15 ground defenses associated with it. It's got a security rating, which is how safe it is. It's got morale, it's got pollution levels, and all these things need to be babysat as you get further and further into the game. Now, you can totally just tell this thing to run itself by picking one of the colony focuses. Well, not really. I'll still have to pick production. Well, you can use auto build, I guess, too. But each of these will focus your civilians in a different way because you can pick them up and drag them around to make them do different things. And you will note that our research goes down per turn when we move dudes around, as does our food. For right now, my suggestion would be just to leave it as is. Some people like to dogpile production, some people like to dogpile food, and some people like to dogpile research. It really kind of just depends on the way you want to play the game. We might want to move a little bit of food around. That'll make it take 13 turns. I bet I can get on top of that, though, with research. Alright, so let's choose our first production. There's not really a whole lot to produce right now. We can either produce frigates, we can produce space factories, colony ships, scout ships, missile bases, or automated factories. I would say that we should start with the automated factory. That's going to increase the amount of production this place does natively, just without the help of your little construction workers. Each of these guys does 4, it looks like. It actually has the number above their head, so I would know that. Wait. Is that the number above their head? Oh, so we must have -5 food consumption. Never mind. I was wondering where that 5 went right there. But the planet has consumption. I had forgotten about that fact. Anyways, that's the amount of production they do. So right now our planet is only natively producing 1 production by itself. If we do an automated factory, that'll bring it up by how much generation? It probably does like 2 or 3. It doesn't tell you on the tooltip yet. Yeah, however, it's going to cost us. So you see that BC Maintenance 2 right there? That means that we get 12 billion credits per turn. That's going to drop down to 10 on the next turn because it costs us 2 in order to maintain this factory. Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to make cash in this game. It's not that big of a deal. We run entire planets, so I'm not going to stress about it. What do we have in this little stack here? We have scouts and frigates. Let's go ahead and send a scout over into this galaxy right here by right-clicking. And we're going to go ahead and set this other scout loose. Actually, go check out that asteroid field real fast. So what's going on? Triones discovered. Oh, Triones discovered. Okay. So what does this do right here? Normally you can do something with these. I think you can build on them with space factories, and it'll give you either extra system-wide production and a couple of other things. I would also like to take, I'm hoping there's no entrance to here and that there's also not a pirate base inside this system, the Chile system. If there's a pirate base inside of here, it's a little troublesome. It'll be an issue. I'm going to send my frigate off down to this system to check things out. The last thing we want to happen, though, is we really don't want to lose this colony ship. It takes forever to produce one of these, and it costs you population. It costs you 1 population, so it drains your level by 1 on your planet every time you make a colony ship, and so it is quite expensive. We're going to sleep him for right now. We got to choose some research to start on.
Pride and honor.
Let's see here.
Should the scrutineers scrounge up?
Our scrutineers have a couple of options. We can go with electronics, which will give us deep scanners. It'll give us electronic computers to make us more accurate in combat, and laser cannon modifications. I don't think we use laser cannons, though. I think we use missiles and neutron blasters. We'd probably want to start with something that's 8 turns long. 16 seems like a big investment right now since our research is not so strong. We could either go with government interference so we can actually research how to tax our people. That's what research wants, and that's also what economic advisors want. We can go with biology, which is what the civilians want or social advisors want. This will make it so that we can grow our planet a little bit faster. And this is what our military guys want. They want us to research anti-missile rockets, and they want us to research the destroyer. I'm going to go with biology up first. And so there it is. Yes. You'll stick out your claws on this, I know. So let's go ahead and bypass a turn. Everybody has their orders. It's now 2301 CE. I assume that means Common Era. I love how the game steps you through like the stuff you're supposed to be doing. Like I can just like click on stuff and make it happen. I'm going to have him auto-explore. I'm actually going to have him go back to Ursa Prime and protect this colony ship. Just in case. And in the meantime, he's on auto. Where is our other scout craft? He was right here, was he not? Oh, it's two separate fleets here. You go this way and explore then, since he's doing his own thing. We don't need to send scouts in the same direction as one another. We kind of want to point them in opposite ways. I'm sure there's probably going to be a wormhole over here. As a rule, if your star is like yellow or like orange or white or anything like that, you tend to have better luck finding planets. Whereas if the star is like a blue color, or it's kind of like a more intense, like basically the star is getting older and it's getting ready to like die or whatever. A fleet needs orders. Unstable warp points are rife with rogue energies that wreak havoc on ships' navigation systems. Travel through unstable warp points is impossible until ships are in... Oh, they have a multi-state insulator. Oh, yeah, I see that right there. I've never seen this before. So you see that red little tunnel right there? It means that we can't actually open up like a little slip gate or a jump gate into this galaxy, unfortunately. We can go this way, though. I'm hoping this doesn't trap us in this corner. That would be a little bit troublesome, but I think we can go across, too. I don't know. I'll try. We'll see what happens here. We have no option to go over there, so hopefully when we get to the Chele system, there will be a way out of here. Otherwise, we're trapped inside this little corner of the galaxy until further notice. I don't know. We'll check it out on the next turn. I'm sure it'll be okay. Maybe. Possibly. Yeah, we can jump out right there. And then hopefully that loops around to that side. A fleet needs orders. You, sir, are going to be on Auto Explorer. Go out with him and just probe all these planets. Touch them, lick them, find out what's so great about them. I wonder if that planet's good right there. I bet it is if it's behind here. Hopefully it has another unstable warp gate on the opposite side so that other people can't get to it either. Alright, so you go check this planet over here. It's Chele 3. It's a huge planet with a poor biome, a barren biome, and poor mineral supply. It can support 8 population and a reasonable amount of production, although not really that much. So the first guy will produce 3, 2, 1, 1, 1. Okay. I mean, we could help out with that. We could install things on there to make the food go a little bit better. But an 8 population, I mean, what are you going to do? I will probably begin sending him off in this direction with the frigate in tow, just in case he's got a storage tow. I never talked about this, but our ship has a storage tow. It has a big tow built on it. It's just for the storage of fleets and other good stuff. What kind of planet is this? Another barren planet. That sucks. Okay. We don't have any good planets around just yet. I was hoping we would have some good planets around. We may be scrounging on this one. We may be scrounging hard. After I build that, we haven't finished our research yet. I'm going to start the production of a frigate, because having a reasonable military is probably a good idea, because space pirates know that we're out here, and they have this tendency to occasionally show up and just try to muck with the things that you're working with, and it's an irritant. Yeah, we got 3 barren planets in one system, man. Bad luck for us. Okay, so let's go over to here then. Basically, I'm trying to make a run for whatever will be the best, most occupiable planet that we can do. No, that planet is not viable. I will not be wasting a colony ship on that. No, thank you. Meanwhile, you, sir, are gonna... here. Go after that right there. Perfect. They're on Auto Explorer, so they'll do this on their own, but I tend to be kind of anal about micromanaging this stuff. And so I like to make sure that they're doing it the way that I want them to do it, rather than the way that they want to do it.
Learned a new trick.
There's... Yep, thanks to our scrutineers. We've gotten the hydroponic farm, we've gotten biospheres, both of which are pretty decent. This one produces more food on our planet. It makes it so that our population grows faster. This one right here gives us research and food. Both of them have an associated billion credit cost, though. So these are like planet-wide things that we have to work on. For right now, it looks like everyone's in agreement that they want government up next, so we'll go ahead and start researching that. That might be the first group in history to ever be in agreement that they want more government, but you know what? We're going to do it anyway so that we can tax harder, and then after that we'll go after military technology and update all of our military blueprints. That'll help out. I think this will probably be about an hour long, in case you were curious about how long this is going to go. I just want to make sure that we cover the game appropriately. Actually, we timed that just perfectly. Hydroponic farm is up next to help out with our food. It is going to take a toll on our billion credits right there, but by the time we get all this done, we should be able to build the tax center, which will give us you get extra taxes for every person on your planet. And so it should give us an opportunity to get, I think, either 6 or 12 billion credits per turn. I'll have to take a look and see what the specific thing is that it does, but I want to look at this planet before anything else gets cray-cray. Man, what is up with all these barren planets? Ain't nobody want these little bastards. These are terrible, terrible planets. Like, no joke. This is bad for us. We've got a frigate over here. Like, I really don't want to colonize these planets because they suck. They're a waste of time. This one's okay. It's not as bad as it seems, but some of these places are nightmarishly terrible. Let's send you up and over here and see if maybe... Ah, that system's looking promising. Looking a little bit more promising over there. Okay, fleet needs orders. This is a colony ship and a frigate. Go ahead and follow him to the warp point.
I learned about this.
He wants us to build a space factory. Oh yeah, we can zoom all the way out on the galaxy. These are all the stars that we have available. It's a larger size galaxy, and so we are going to have some trouble meeting other races, but it is good for us because it means we should be able to expand out pretty quickly and take a whole bunch of land and then just focus on our civics and stuff like that while we wait. I like to work on cars while I wait for other races, for example. This looks like a gas giant. I don't think it's going to be useful for anything. We've got choose production on our main planet here. The longer we wait to colonize a planet, too, it's kind of like making your second city or whatever in Civ. The longer you wait, the more behind you are. And so, in general, depending on your strategy, you kind of want to mash that out. I'm going to go Space Factory. And the reason being is that I can use the Space Factory on these asteroid fields. And he should be able to increase, for our system, he should be able to make our production a little bit better. Because everybody's got an order now, we'll go ahead and... Why are you not doing anything? Oh, that's my frigate. Okay, come meet up with them then. Actually, I'll probably leave you at the home world just in case. I don't know where the pirates are at, but they're going to be around soon, so... We've got Auroch 3. This is a medium desert planet with abundant mineral resources, which means it could be a decent production planet. I am still not sold, though, on any of these locations.
Welcome to GNN.
You are tuned to GNN, the only network that tells you what you need to know. Bringing it to you live.
Galactic News Network, the galaxy's most reputable news source.
She got Robo-Boobs just hanging out on the air. Sometimes you gotta hangle, sometimes you gotta hang Robo-Boob. I don't know. I don't make these rules. Let's go down this way. Auroch Prime. Special. It's got gold. Gives a credits boost to the colony. Yeah, that's looking kind of sexy. Let me go ahead and plant my fleets right here. I haven't seen anybody else, so I assume we've still got room to do some of this. I'm going to send a scout to there just to see what we've got. Another barren planet. I'm going to send a scout over to here just to see what we've got. We've got an ultra-rich mineral planet, but this one's looking like where I'm going to plant my flag. I love these little intros. So all these videos right here get me so stoked about colonizing the planet. I really do wish that I lived during a time period where you could just leave and go to a different planet and just like experience stuff and travel. I mean, I haven't even done that on the planet that I already have. But all I'm saying is we've got one production right here and we need this. What I would recommend right now, he's producing 3 billion credits. Morale is kind of It could be better. That's one of the reasons why we need... What is his tax basis right now here? We can manage our structures too, by the way. You can actually like look at where all your buildings are and stuff like that. You can scrap them, you can destroy them if you wanted to. I don't think you can choose where you want to place them. It might be a feature that they're going to do later. I don't know if it's like Galactic Civ 2 or if it's planned to be like Gal Civ 2 where later on you'll have like a grid and you can put stuff where you want it or whatever. But this will be fun stuff. I never had an ocean planet before. This is very cool. With the credits bonus, what does gold provide, or do I actually have to tap into that? So we get 1 from the population and 2 from resources. Okay, so there's gold deposits here. They are also helping with other things. So what is my total credit stock? 204. That's not very good. What I was going to recommend is maybe that we just auto-buy the things that we want right now. I'm going to send somebody out to there too just to check if that's a little elbow corner. In which case what I'll do is I'll colonize either this or Triones. And then once I do that, I'll put a military base there so it blocks it off and it makes all of this ostensibly ours. Nobody can get inside of it. If you build a military base on one of these gates right here, nobody can get past it without actually... They have to create a treaty in order to get into your land, and it makes life a lot easier for you. We need production over here, so I guess we'll get started... It's going to take us a long-ass time to get anything done. I may put him back on production. With 5 production, that bumps that down. Yeah, that's probably the smarter idea. Let's start with biospheres so that we can get this guy leveling up. Yeah. It's a planet that has pretty good food production, so my suggestion would be that we focus on getting this thing to grow up so it can actually become a world where we can farm it for credits. I may focus this planet on just generating revenue since they've already got the gold here. You kind of want to pick a thing that your planet does before you fully colonize it. And so what I like to do is I like to get in my head what I want each planet to do. So I have like a production planet where everything on it is just production all day, every day, just producing those hammers and then just banging out whatever it is that I need, units or, you know, extra stuff like the utilitarian vehicles. Like we're producing right now on Ursa Prime, we are producing actually next turn a space factory, and then we'll be able to deploy that. Does this have an asteroid belt in it? It does not. Okay, well, things to think about here. You just hang out and guard this system. I don't really care what else you do. Just chill and make sure nobody rides out on us because I don't want to lose anything right now. Our space factory is done, as is our research on government. I'm going to send him over to here. And the goal is you're going to click on the build button. He can do an asteroid mine, which gives us +2 credits. He can do an asteroid laboratory, which gives us +2 to research. I'm going to focus on the cash because we need it. I think this is going to be an expensive game for us right now. And my revenue, I usually like to have this around 20 to +25 once I've gotten through kind of the front end of the game. We're not near the front end of the game right now. Like, I tend to divide it up into like a front, middle, and an end game period where I've got a rough game plan for what I want to do during that time. Obviously, I don't have the mind for games like this. There are other gamers that are obviously much better at it than I am. But still, I try to organize like a little bit. We've got a research laboratory, which allows us to boost research on a planet, and then a government support facility. The GSF is actually a really, really important building. It increases your security from like spies and things like that, and then also it raises morale. Morale penalties, they'll cause your workers to go on strike, and so when you go to your planet, I'll show you in just a minute what it'll look like. I'm going to go with some new weapons technology. I'd like to get that done, and then after I get that done, I'd like to get shields done as well. Alright, so right now we're taking all shots to like straight to the hull of our vehicle, and having a shield would probably be helpful. A research laboratory. Aren't we supposed to have access to the government support facility, or does it already have one? Or does the capital count as like a better version of the same thing? Lack of this structure caused loss of morale. No, I don't see one around. Well, we should be able to build a GSF over here, but I don't see it anywhere, so I'll probably focus on biospheres, and then once we run out of everything else to build on the planet, I will then make our next colony ship, which will probably go to the next system over and get that really, really big production planet. Unless we find something a little bit further out. Our military is a little bit light right now. I would like to fix that. I would like for our military to be quite a bit stronger. I don't feel good about... Why aren't you guys exploring? I was going to say, get back out there. Go find things for me. Things for me to claim and wrap my big bear-like fingers around. Things that I desire. He's working on the asteroid mine right there. Good, good stuff. And we've got nothing to do but just like sit for a little bit, I think. Ah, another race.
I am the mouthpiece of the Hive. We are the Klakon. We are many.
Hey, how's it going, my amber-eyed homie? My bony homie?
Must stick out my claws.
We've got a Wasatgo. Oh, it's a toxic planet. I thought it was a swamp planet. It's a toxic planet, and so we would have to find a way to terraform that before we could land on it, I think. Well, actually, I think we could colonize it. It's just not going to be very good at, like, having people on it, I guess. Since, as I assume bears in our world need oxygen, so too do bears in Spachi. Let's choose some production here. We've got... Just keep the research laboratory going. That's perfectly fine. I don't really mind. Our population has grown somewhere. Oh, right here, and it automatically put it into production. How nice of them to do so. I don't know if I want that to be the case. I may focus on population because we're going to be spawning colony ships from here, and that gets expensive with regards to population. And so it's now a level 7 planet. It's actually grown only once since we started. War and taxes are inescapable. I think we just finished our... We just got a +2 bonus to our credits. Where did that come from? It came from somewhere. This is also a toxic planet. Brutal. Well, what about you? Can you go over... Oh, wow, it's a toxic system. The entire system's been, like, ravaged by something. Okay. This one as well. Interesting. Very, very interesting. It would appear as though the corner of the galaxy that we got spawned into is very much lacking in options with regards to colonization. We're in a rough place right now. I was hoping we'd have at least one world that had a Terran biome. I mean, sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. We got this world right here, which is pretty good, but I've had games where I had a system like this, and there's a bunch of worlds inside of it that all are almost as good as this one, and they all have their own little bonuses. And once you set up like 2 systems like that, you're basically good to go against anybody. You can fight non-stop, and you've got such a small geographic area, or I guess would you call it stellographic? I don't know what you would call it. What would you call it? No, it's not geographic, obviously. Astrographic? There we go. That sounds pretty good. An astrographic area? That sounds nice. I think I'd stick with that one. Stellographic's alright, but astrographic, that's the baller. I don't think I want any of these planets. I don't think I want any of these planets at all. None of these are looking sexy to me. I bet this one's dead too. Oh no, that one's a little bit better. That one's a bit more manageable, I guess. God, that leaves us with this crappy planet over here as our next one that we're going to colonize. We've got Auroch 5 and we've got Chele 3. Those are the ones that are jumping out at me. Obviously, we'll probably want to get Phoebus Prime, but that's simply so I can get the asteroid field right there. I don't really care about the planet itself. I need to figure out what research allows me to unlock this branch so I can go over here too. We've only met the Klakon Hive. They will be vying with us for territory from here on in. They will be trying to expand as quickly as possible, as would we. Well. Oh, there's a military outpost there. I wonder if this is their homeworld. Yeah, this is their homeworld, I bet. They haven't done a whole lot. So what we'll want to do is we'll want to expand. And we'll want to take this one next. It seems like a bad plan, but I have something that I want to do here. So the next thing we'll do is we'll make a colony ship. They'll colonize this. Once they colonize this... Well, technically I could colonize this one over here. And it sounds like a shitty thing to do. But the reason I'm doing that is so I can build a military base here and a military base here. So at the Klakon, they're trapped in this corner of the galaxy. Now, unfortunately, we got other issues to contend with right now as well. If they build another military base right here, they've also trapped us. And so we've effectively trapped each other until our research gets to the point where we can stabilize these red warp gates, which won't be for a little while, I don't think.
We've learned a new trick, thanks to our scrutineers.
Alright, so we've got a destroyer, which is a pretty big badass ship. It can definitely wreck some faces. It'll make frigates look stupid. It's a pretty good ship. How do we make our way? We can view the tech tree. We need the thing that allows us to stabilize warp gates. And I don't even know where we would start to get that from. So with tachyon physics, it's got to be pretty far down the tree. I mean, it's got to be... Oh man, so we got transwarp fields over here. Stellar converters on this side. I wonder if I can just click on it in the description of the thing over here. I'll try that. What I'll do is I'll go to the unstable warp point with one of my ships in just a minute. Actually, I'll take him over here. Ah, there it is. So how far away are we? I figured that was probably how it would work. We more than likely want to work towards this then, because we can't escape from our system without it. This is going to make us a bit of a warrior badass. No lie, like this is going to make us pretty good at kicking ass and taking names by the time we get to that point in the tree. But I think it's going to be necessary. So yeah, I think we're going to have to do it. We've got production on both of our planets right now ready to go. So on this side, we're going to start on a colony ship as soon as possible. A lot of people will probably disagree with that decision, but we've got to rush to keep the Klakon out of our area before they build military bases on all this, because they will. They'll expand into here, they'll expand into here, they'll like run out to here and they'll build a military base, and I can't have my kingdom split in half. I would have to declare war on them then, and we would just have to fight them on the front end of the game and hope for the best. And early game wars tend to be really bad ideas in games like this. They tend to be a poor investment of resources. Let's go with the government support facility over here, because their morale is actually pretty bad, and I can bump that up by 15%. That'll put them at 85%, which means that we'll have a little while till our first strike, and I can live with that for right now. I just want to stabilize and make sure. Actually, that might not have been the best plan. We don't have enough population right now to really worry about it. Let's go with the automated factory next. After the factory, we'll go with all of our food production, and from there, we'll do the best that we can with what we have. Got one turn till that's finished. On the plus side, chances are their system is the only connector out of here, which means they'll be taking all the pirate attacks for us. Unless the pirates have the multi-state insulator, we won't be attacked by pirates this entire game, because they'll be soaking that hit for us. Good stuff there. So you always got to look at the bright side in games like this. Is that not done? How come it just oh, I was going to say, it didn't let me pass. I was going to say I didn't think that it would let me pass. Let's go up here, and I'm going to have him inside the safety of a different system now that we're getting our freebie credits here. I don't know if those kick in on the next turn or when that's going to kick in. Our frigate is just going to guard the planet for now. He needs orders. Yeah, they are. They're building military outposts on each of these jump gates. Unfortunately, I think we're going to have to go to war with them. We're going to have to go to war with them really, really early. The plus side is they, I doubt, would be able to fight us this early on in the game if we just started full production of ships. Especially if we come down here and we snipe one of these systems and then lock them out of, like, everywhere. I'll probably take this one next so that I can build a military outpost right there. And then we'll have all this space to deal with. They'll have to expand in the other direction. And I think right now, I don't know. This is a bad position to be in. This is not looking good for our gameplay. This is not looking good at all. The Mensa system. It's one of the brightest systems, but it can't resist telling you about it. I would like you to go up to here. You, on the other hand, are going all the way around, I guess. The galaxy is slowly growing larger. Before getting into combat, it is important to consider an enemy's strength and analyze possible outcomes. Yeah, I'm aware. There's pirates right there. And so, yeah, pirates are in the Perseus system right there. They probably have a base right here, which means they'll be hitting these guys all the time. Hopefully not messing with us. That would make my life easier.
Galactic News Network.
Science leaps forward in the galaxy today, thanks to a new discovery by Bulrathi scientists.
Oh, cool. You get random events, and so we'll see what happens here. The Bulrathi Empire has reached a major breakthrough in science. Oh. So we can choose between an ECM jammer. The ECM jammer makes it so that people have trouble targeting us, whereas the shield makes it so that we just soak damage. I will probably take the shield right there, and that'll make our lives a little bit easier. I like how the technology can be split. I've never seen that in a 4X game before, where you complete a research and you get to choose between 2 or 3 things, but you can only pick one of them aside from that when you get that research done. And so it's kind of a way for you to spec your troops. Now what we're doing right here, we're upgrading our blueprints, and so it changes the amount of production required in order to build whatever that ship is. And so we've added the shields to each one, and it's added a little bit of production to their cost. In the meantime, we can also spend money to upgrade the frigates that we have, so long as they're docked around a planet. And so it'd probably be in our best interest to take this guy here and take him back to Auroch Prime. And now that, oh, Auroch Prime, I'm sorry. And now that he's on Auroch Prime, we can upgrade him with the shield for 9 billion credits. We got 340 going right now. That means that in the future we should be able to build stuff instantaneously a little bit easier. I think we're probably going to be staring at each other across our military barricades, though. We're going to have a little bit of a military standoff over here between us and the Klakon. The Klakon might get clacked on, is all that I'm saying. Scout ship sent him to the next system. And on turn 29, I just like you to hang tight, and we'll deal with pirates as they come through. I want to protect the planets that I have for right now. instead of... Sometimes what I do is I get sidetracked and I start spreading out all over the place. Ursa Prime has grown. Oh, good. We got another population down here. That's fantastic, because in 6 turns we're going to drain that population. Let's put them on production. Because in 6 turns we're going to drain one population by making the colony ship, which is then going to make a beeline for up here. It's going to need an escort, though, because losing a colony ship is like one of the worst things that can ever happen to you. Basically means game over, because now you wasted a whole bunch of production doing something that came to no fruition. So essentially when you're playing games like this, the way you have to think about it, and the way that I had to teach myself to think about it so that I could be better at it, is you need to think of every turn as a resource, and you need to think of every single hammer that you spend on production, every single food that you spend on humans, and every single research that you spend. It needs to be spent well, and you need to get mileage out of that spending, because typically these games come down to either finding bugs and exploiting stupid AI, or B, just being efficient, more efficient than your enemy over the course of an entire game. He's almost over there. You know, by the time we get this done, it's not going to matter anyways. He's finally arrived here. There's another radiated planet. Man, what's going on with all these, like, shit planets? There's a lot of bad planets in this playthrough, no lie. We've had some pretty bad luck around our planets. Normally there's at least 1 Terran or 2 Terrans within a couple jumps around you. Or at least like some desert planets, or like some Hoth-like snow planets. Something that's a little bit more hospitable, but in this situation it does not appear to be the case. We want to put in a military outpost right here, so that we can declare that our space.
This could be of aid in our campaign.
Research is done on electronics, and so what we're looking at right now is we can either make our weapons more accurate, or the deep scanner makes it so that as we arrive in a system, we now no longer have to click on each planet with our scout in order to scout that planet. Instead, when we arrive in a system, we automatically know every planet in the system. This one's good for scouting, but in the end game it's going to be completely worthless, whereas this one is long-term, I think, a bit more viable, so I'm going to take that. It does save you turns, but my scouts aren't doing anything anyways, so... This is going to add a bunch of production, unfortunately, to each of our ships. However, it does make them stronger. The electronic computers will make them target way, way, way better. We haven't done any combat yet because there hasn't really been any pirates, but ooh, that's expensive. But I guess I'll upgrade the Frigate 3 for now. I guess I'll upgrade the Frigate 3 blueprint so that it comes with the shield standard stock. And you can set up those blueprints if you want. If you go to the ship design menu right here, when you're inside the ship design menu, you are going to be able to fiddle around with, you know, you can actually set up basic things and name them. If you wanted to have your ship spec'd for different things, you can slide in all the various parts. So we go to empty right here. We can take nuclear missiles and we can just like slap all the parts that we want onto our ship and then rename it. Bim, bam, bomb. You can look at, I think, the destroyer hulls as well. You can have base destroyers. There's alternate versions of the ships. There's like themes and stuff like that where you can move the paint jobs around. Very, very cool stuff inside of here, and I think that if you're one of those people that likes to fiddle with stuff and play Legos for a little while, you'll probably have fun with it. I don't really want to mess with this anymore, and so I'm going to cancel. We'll step on out. I tend to just go with the default stuff, and then as the need arises, I'll sit here and I'll build new ships to fight with my enemies if I find out they're weak to beams or whatever. And I've been doing my beam research later on down the line. Ooh, that's a really good planet. Wow, that's a crazy good planet. Damn, that's exactly the type of planet we're looking for. That is the one right there. You know, we have time. If I gave it a frigate escort, we could leap their barricade before they build a station here and put it in right there, but I just don't know if that's a good idea. It would split our empire in half, which concerns me. Is that a military base or what is that? Huh. I thought they were building military bases. They appear to be dithering a little bit. It's okay. That's going to be a punishment for them. They should be building military bases right now if they were really being efficient. So colony ship, head over to here. Frigate, I want you to move around and just kind of head this problem off at the pass, just in case something goes wrong here. And at this point, Did it drain one of my population? I thought you lost a population when you did a colony ship, but I wasn't paying attention so well. Yeah, we lost one of our little workers down there, I think. So we can put a missile base on here. Makes it hard for enemies to, like... I think what it does is if there's, like, bombers or anything like that that come in to try and carpet bomb your planet, you can just, like, unload on them with the missile base. I would say we should probably start expanding our military now. While I wait, I'm just going to go for another frigate right there. We'll have him chill and just keep guarding the planet, even though there's nothing to guard it from. I have this nightmare that the second I leave, there's going to be a pirate station over here somewhere that's just going to waste us, and it's going to be extremely ugly, and it's going to make me unhappy. That sucks that they've got a Terran planet right there, so if we blockade ourselves in, they're just going to go for the Terran planet, which is really kind of a downer, because we can't afford them having 2 Terran planets. Our production, we can't keep up. We would have to colonize like every single area in here just to make up for that one planet. It's a little bit of an issue. Looks like they're gonna fight over there. The combat in this game is real-time strategy. It puts you inside like a battle map with like obstacles and things like that. I'll try, if I can't get any combat in here, I'd like to point it out, but this game is not combat heavy.
Galactic News Network.
Galactic neighbors should take heed, as the Shan Pride has taken over another planet.
It's a race to the top for sentient beings across the galaxy.
I don't know if I could talk to somebody whose eyeballs were actively just gyrating out of their forehead while they were speaking with me. It concerns me. Production on this side. They've got 7 production, which means they're actually in a pretty decent position to start building some ships. But what we want first over here is we're going to go with the government support facility. They're also only level 1. Oh, this planet is losing money. Yeah, we need the government support facility then, because this will collect taxes from each of these civilians that lives here. Fleet needs orders. Let's start checking out some planets up in here. More toxic planets. Radiated everywhere. Don't bring the Geiger counter in. It'll be clicking like a clacking. I don't know if that's a species insensitive thing to say. I'm going to bring this over to here just in case the Clacon don't stop that pirate for whatever reason. I'm going to have you go over to that system just so we have reasonable star maps. They're pretty easy to trade for anyways, so I'm not really that concerned about it. You... God, that's such a bad planet. Production's good, though. We might be able to do something with it. This one has artifacts, which give us a research bonus, I think. But yeah, I want the frigate to be over here. And just kind of making sure that, like, shit doesn't go down on this side, just in case. Just in case the Clacon decided to just be like, and not stop that pirate from coming towards my territory. Because every now and again, the Clacon are known for allowing one of those pirates to get by. It looked like he was heading him off and not letting him into the system, so that's okay. How's pollution on this planet? 31%. Let's work on pollution cleanup for a little bit. I could work on my military a little bit further, but I think I would rather just kind of focus on making sure my planets stay hospitable and nice. And nice, that means that you can actually just spit on them if you wanted to. They are quite hospitable. You can live there, you can spit on it, you can do whatever you want. It's yo planet. Do what you want to do. I can't tell you who to colonize. Fleets need orders. We'll send you on out this way. That's a big-ass warp jump, though, so that's going to take a little bit. And we'll continue exploring Der Galaxy. Ursa Prime has gotten larger. Very, very good. And we want you to just chillax right there until we arrive with that colony ship. Auroch Prime should be growing pretty soon, too, as far as I know. Let's go ahead and we'll have pollution cleanup. We already got almost minus 10% off the pollution. The pollution, you want to keep that down so that people stay happy. Over here, they got 2% pollution. They are losing money, but next turn we'll have a Galactic Revenue Service. Essentially our own version of the Splattercat. It's like the Nerd Castle IRS, and it'll be nice to have. They're scouting our lands down here, and I don't like that very much. Guard that right there. We will be invading the Clacon early, hopefully to kill them before they can take that planet. And then after we steal their Terran planet and exterminate their race, we will try and get that third Terran planet over there to make our lives a little bit easier. But obviously all of that is well outside the breadth of this video because we're coming up on the end right now. We only got about 10 minutes left. I think with the research laboratory, I mean, we could build it. It's going to cost us, though, and our revenue service really didn't help out that much there. So I really prefer not to. However, we have command points, and so start building me some more military vessels. Go ahead and make me a destroyer, please. They've got no allocation there, but if you wanted to see how many ships we can have, the limit's up here. We're at 8, and so we can make about 3 more ships for our current size. This guy's done. I'm going to bring him over to here, which is going to take some time, and create yet another military barricade. I don't know if this is the right choice. I'm doing it because it feels like a decent choice. There are better planets, but this secures those better planets for later.
Galactic News Network.
A gargantuan space creature has been discovered. All civilian craft are directed to maintain a safe distance from this dangerous creature.
The Galactic Cryptozoological Organization has designated this deadly entity Space Monster.
Yes, this is important.
Okay, so unknown life forms. You will find aliens around every now and again that are just like creatures that fly throughout the galaxy, and they mess with your life. That's all that they do, is they are just there to ruin your life, and they guard the planet. So oftentimes what will happen is you'll have a really nice planet, but it'll have like a mega squid around it, and so you can't get to the planet till you kill the mega squid. And the mega squids tend to be pretty violent. They're hard to take out in the front end of the game. You gotta have pretty good military research in order to take them. So we've got a colony ship here. Let's go ahead and colonize. Obviously not the best planet that I've ever seen, but I think if we manage our food generation properly, I don't know, there's these ships that allow you to move population from one planet to another. We might be able... Oh, no, never mind. It's just got a maximum of... What about the 5th slot? What can I do with the 5th slot up here? Either way, the only reason I colonized this right here was to give me a production planet right on the edge of Klakon space for when we invade. And the artifacts should help us out with research. So yeah, it gives us 2 extra artifact research, so that's good. And then we'll bring this guy on over, and then life should be good. You go ahead and just do your thing. Actually, run. You got pirates. Those pirates are about to mess up our scout, and I don't want to lose a scout right now. I would like to see this planet. That's not a bad planet either. Man, if we had just deployed like over here instead of down here, we'd be in such good shape right now. Production for our capital planet. Production for the capital planet, I'm saying we should probably go after... Let's get a destroyer built. I'd like to have my military all nice and fleshed out for this invasion of the Klakon or whatever. It would make my life easier if we could just bombard them and get them out of the way early. It probably won't make us a lot of friends. That's actually a nice little compact planet right there. That planet has a lot of really, really attractive traits for being so small. I'm surprised. It's not going to matter. None of these planets are going to be accessible to us for a very, very long time. But it's just stuff to think about. The next colony ship will probably be going out to get this guy right here. Not the best planet I've ever seen, but it is what it is. And then after that, we'll probably grab this guy. And then after that, we may... Actually, what was this one over here? We'll probably grab this one pretty soon. I mean, the minerals are pretty bad here. What does that do? Oh, well, we get a passive dark quartz benefit, so that's nice. I mean, that'll make up... It won't make up for it, but it still offsets it a little bit. And that is a low-gravity planet. I think you can put a flag down on the planet if it's something you're interested in or something like that. Yeah, you can put a little flag on it so that the system that it's in, you can go ahead and eyeball it real fast if you wanted to go grab it. I'm going to have him move over to there, and we'll check out this system on the next turn. As far as this ship is concerned, do me a favor and chill there for a minute. And we'll wait and see what the pirates do. I need to wait for the pirates to leave that system, otherwise we can't get much done. And then we'll jump on in and we'll see what happens here. Vox discovered. What's Vox? Oh, the system of Vox. Okay, I thought the Vox were like a race or something. I was like, I don't remember those ones. Where did those guys come from? They expanded or whatever? Got production. We've got food. Next population is 3. Okay. We probably need to work on food production. We've got a neutron collider. Gives us production per cell. Okay. So I think that would give us like 6 production on our planet, which would be pretty good. But it would take a while to get done. Let's work on our research for a little bit, because it's not going to take long to bang that thing out anyways. And we're kind of just waiting. Fleet needs orders. That's one of our destroyers right there. He's just going to chill and wait. We're going to try and jump over this way so that we can explore this system over here. That pirate, I don't think you can fight somebody in the warp, like when you're warping in between zones, and so we should be able to go past him without any issues. Production over here is looking good. We got 11 out of 15. I will probably continue in that regard, mashing out. We got to save enough command points so that we can still make colony ships and other stuff. Let's do the neutron collider for right now. That'll probably give us a pretty fat bonus. All right, this is a really, really good planet, so we'll probably work towards that. Either way, we're just about out of time for the day. This is the collector's edition of Masters of Orion. And so you get early access to the game if you purchase it. You get the original games, Master of Orion 1, 2, and 3. You get a bonus race called the Terran Comet. And then on top of that, you'll get retro art pixel ships. You'll get like a digital art book and an orchestral soundtrack. The game's pretty cool. I'm surprised like the amount of polish and stuff that I've seen in the game so far, and I'm really enjoying it. It's got Mark Hamill as a voice actor, which always gets me going. It's got Worf, Michael Dorn. It's got the guy from The Last of Us. It's got Nathan Drake from Uncharted. They got a ton of really big name voice actors on this one. So if you wanted to get the game, check it out down below in the description. I will have the link for the collector's edition of Masters of Orion, so you get all that cool swag. And then I will see you all later. Thank you for joining me for this short little 1-hour video or so to check the game on out. If you guys really, really liked it, I could be persuaded to do a few more episodes, so let me know what you think down below. And I will see you all in future happenings here at the Nerd Castle. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. Bye.